Tokenization industry has been initially built by engineers, but it will start getting real traction when executives from traditional industries bring their extensive experience and use new tools to disrupt industries in which they know all ins and outs. Meet Michael Flight, an experienced real estate entrepreneur with more than 35 years in the real estate industry, who recognized the power of blockchain and decided to be among the first ones to seize the advantage. Michael, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Boris and Ross, it's absolutely just a great morning to be with you guys too. Thank you very much for inviting me. Really appreciate it.
Welcome everybody to Stobox Interview, a video series where we bring industry rock stars to discuss the future of crypto, tokenization, and capital markets overall. We are your all-time hosts, Boris Pikalo and Ross Shemilak. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notification so that you don't miss other fantastic interviews that will provide you with the in-depth knowledge of the industry and what's going on. Now let's get straight into the interview. Michael, please tell us about yourself and your activities.
I'm Michael Flight. I'm the CEO of Liberty Real Estate Fund. We are the world's first net lease security token. And it's what we like to describe it as stable, tradable private real estate. We are really excited about this and combining traditional real estate, which is probably one of the most staid and backwards industries in the world. It hasn't changed a lot, and even most of the larger institutional investors, and we've worked with many of them, are still kind of stuck in something close to the early 1990s. As a matter of fact, when I started out, we started out managing properties, our company in 1990, and we were using a mainframe computer. So that's, the kind of dinosaur that I come back from. But really excited to talk about the new and the future and the new rails of the financial system, which we believe is blockchain.
Awesome. You mentioned that you are the world's first net lease security token. Please tell us more about it. How this net lease works, how does it deliver return on investors, and what makes it an attractive investment opportunity?
Okay. I'm going to back up a little bit and say we realize that net lease properties are probably some of the most stable properties in the world. They're basically like a corporate bond wrapped in real estate. So you not only get the guarantee of a major corporation like a Shell Oil Company, like a Walgreens Boots, like a Aldi, any number of really large, Exxon, 7-Eleven, things that people know throughout the world, large brands with huge market capitalizations, they sign these leases. And so they basically guarantee these leases. So you not only have the corporation backing the lease for a long term, but you also have the benefit of real estate and all the benefits that real estate brings you. So for example, if you really want to, see a net lease in action, you can probably see in almost most countries in the world a McDonald's, and it'll be a freestanding McDonald's. And most of the time, the McDonald's doesn't own that restaurant, the actual property. They own the restaurant and they operate the restaurant. But the property is owned by a property owner like us. So that would be the clearest example where everybody in the world could kind of see, oh yeah, it's a McDonald's, it's got the drive-through, and they don't own the real estate. But the absolutely great thing about net leases is the tenants, because they're operating their business out of there, they want to maintain the real estate. So the tenant pays all the expenses, the real estate taxes, the maintenance on the property. They're the ones that's changing the air conditioner. They're the ones that sleep in the parking lot, and they pay the insurance. So it's a net lease because you just get net income. You don't have to mess with it. So that's why we really like these. It's powerful because you get the financial guarantee. You don't have to there's no surprises in terms of expenses, and it's super stable.
Mm-hmm. So it's basically you get the double security. One, the reduced risk due to the reputable corporations having these agreements, and secondly, because the real estate by itself is quite stable asset class in terms of price.
You hit it the nail on the head. The best part about owning real estate is it's an inflation hedge. It's a real world asset. It's one of the world's most proven assets. People have been investing in it for thousands of years. And most wealthy people, even if they make their money in technology or make their money someplace else, will end up investing in real estate because it's the most stable, wealth generating place to park your money.
Technology is good to make a lot of money, and real estate is good to save it.
Exactly. So the technology generates the wealth, and the real estate preserves the wealth.
Yeah,
And
real estate. Sorry, Boris. Real estate is a very huge market and very old market. So every improvements and modern solutions make it better, cheaper, faster, and generates a new profit for the companies.
And just to give you an example, the crypto space is probably about $2.5 trillion total,
Right.
assets. The world's largest asset class is real estate at $280 trillion. So
It is true.
It dwarfs crypto, it dwarfs the stock market, it dwarfs the bond market. It's just big. The biggest problem is unlocking all that value.
There are three main industries in the world. It is the financial sector, real estate, and manufacturing.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree with you guys. So, so that's basically why we're very interested in real estate, and we're interested in marrying real estate to something to make it more liquid.
Sounds good. Before we proceed more to the technology and what we're doing in terms of the blockchain, I also wanted to ask, what return do you offer to investors given such high level of safety? Probably it's not very big, or is it?
It's a much better return than you will get in any bond, especially any sovereign bond, and it's also a better return. So let's say you invested in the bonds of Exxon or McDonald's, you would actually get a higher return from investing in real estate. Our preferred return is a 5.5% preferred return that's paid monthly, that's paid like automatic, and then our first year return, we're looking at somewhere total return of around 7 to 8% cash on cash return. Over the lifetime of the fund, which is 10 years, you would get an equity multiple, so you double your money over the lifetime of the fund. So, but the biggest thing is you're getting paid like clockwork, cash flow. So that's what we really love about these properties, and the properties over the lifetime appreciate because they're just well-located properties in growing areas.
Sounds very good and attractive.
Yeah, from my perspective, I think it is very great interest compared to U.S. treasuries and double bigger than or even triple than inflation in U.S. So for long-term investment, it is a perfect fit.
Oh yeah, and the other great thing is that there's a lot of people in the United States that'll invest in municipal bonds, which are the bonds of states or local towns or something like that, and they invest in those because they're tax advantaged. But what most people forget about is real estate is tax advantaged. So if you are in the U.S., you could take advantage of the taxes. The depreciation. So you might be getting a 5.5% face return, which you get 100% of that money. But with depreciation and with the expenses, you might actually be only paying taxes on half of that.
Yeah, got it. Thank you for a detailed reply. So currently, due to the COVID-19, we see that the flow of investment to real estate, and especially investment in a different countries from US to Thailand, are something changed because people cannot travel and they cannot visit the property. So I wonder which investors are the most interested in tokenization property. So what is the profile of these investors from your perspective?
There's a few different type of investors. First, there's non-US investors that are looking for stability and looking for a place to put their money that they know is going to generate cash flow, but they also know is going to preserve their wealth. And so there's a lot of people out there from different countries that might be experiencing some sort of like difficulties or political instability and things like that. So we've had a lot of interest from those people in those countries, because they say this is the perfect place. I've wanted to get into U.S. real estate. I don't have to really have to figure out or even go to U.S. real estate. I can just invest in it here. The next investor is our traditional real estate investor, who's interested in investing in apartment buildings. They're interested in investing in net lease properties. They're interested in investing in real estate. They like real estate. They know, the benefits of real estate. And a lot of people that are real estate investors are very interested in these type of properties because they might be doing some things with higher risk, higher return, but they know that they want to have a base level in their portfolio, something that's going to be stable, something that's going to pay them cash flow. Because some of the really high return properties, they might not actually pay any money for the first year or two while the property's developed. And then the other investor that we've seen is the U.S. bond investors that are or actually outside of the United States. People that typically were investing in bonds, like in Europe or something like that, when there's negative yields on the bonds over in Europe. So they're very interested in this type of thing, which is an extremely competitive product. And, they're getting returns that they're not being able to find, or very hard to find, in real estate in Europe and some of those other countries.
And what are the benefits of investing in tokenized properties?
The benefits, there's just so many benefits. The great thing is that we took a look at this, and normally we do what's called a real estate syndication. So we put together an investor group, we go out and buy a property, and the investors are basically along for the ride. And so whenever we decide to sell the property, it could be 5 years. My mother was in a syndication and she just got out of it last year. It lasted for close to 38 years and she couldn't get out of it. So that's what happened with traditional real estate investing. This type of investing empowers the investors so that the investors control their investments, the investors control their money. So the coolest thing is that you invest in our fund, or you can invest in, a real estate deal that is tokenized. And after 3 months, first of all, our fund, you have to be an accredited investor, which means you have to meet certain standards of wealth and income. But once you meet that criteria, you can invest in our fund. And after 3 months, if you decided that you wanted to trade, let's say you bought $100,000 worth, you wanted to trade 50,000, I could go to you, Ross, and say, Ross, you're an accredited investor. Are you invested in taking $50,000 of this because I need to, pay for a wedding for my daughter or something like this? And so after 3 months, you can trade it accredited to accredited in the U.S. And after 1 year, you could trade to anybody. So you could trade to accredited or non-accredited, which is unheard of in, private real estate. Most of the time, private real estate was the domain of extremely wealthy people. And so this is going to open up excellent private real estate investments to people that aren't as wealthy, but, might have a good paying job and are trying to save. And their, savings before, you either throw your money into the stock market and you're at the mercy of this thing going up and down, or you throw your money into the bank account, which you actually lose money on. Or, some people are concerned. And don't get me wrong, I love, crypto, and I think it's the way of the future. But some people are really scared about the ups and downs of crypto, especially the violent ups and downs. So if you're looking to balance your portfolio in crypto, this could be an excellent way to get something that's non-correlated to crypto, the stock market, or anything else. Okay, go ahead, Ross. I'm sorry.
Yeah, got it. So what we are doing, your company, you personal, and we matching the traditional markets such as real estate with the technology and with modern solutions. And based on your answer, I wonder which challenges are you facing in the process of tokenizing the real estate, maybe in conversation with clients, with negotiation, or some challenges that they see on this market, because sometimes for old guys from old markets, it's very different to change the way of investments.
So Ross, you just called me an old guy, but that's all right. But it's been a real challenge. So we're still really early in the game, and so we started this journey. I started thinking about the concept back in 2017 when I was talking to some really intelligent friends of mine, and one of them is actually the chief of staff for Dan Larimer and all kinds of other people that were deep to the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and blockchain space. And I said, I just don't understand why you wouldn't tie it to real estate. I said, I understand, but I just look at this as a software project. And mind you, I don't have the mind of an engineer. I'm a real estate guy. So I always defaulted back to, the mind of real estate. And even Ben Franklin, one of the founders of the country, when they were debating what the money system in the US should be, he came up with a land coin. He wanted to tie the value of the coin to land. So it's not a new idea, but it's really taken a long time because the technology is a little bit difficult for a guy like me and the people in our organization to get all up to speed on. It's hard to figure out who's doing what in the space, and there's a bunch of buzzwords. So we are looking forward to the time when companies like you actually make it smooth and seamless so that somebody like me in the real estate industry could walk in and we could have a conversation and say, this is what we want to accomplish. We want to get from here to there. So some of the big challenges were we ran into a lot of things where we want to do this, 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 and this. And either, well, the technology doesn't do that right now, or we don't have the plugin for the application to do that right now, or legally you can't do that, or within the United States tax code, you have to change the offering to match, meet what's legal in the United States tax code. So it literally took us, more than we're going on 2 years to get this thing up and running. So from actually first starting on it for real and spending money. And it also took a lot of money. So, but what we're really excited about is in the coming years, this is going to be so easy for all kinds of real estate owners, all kinds of real estate developers, and it's going to be super easy for people all over the world to invest in real estate.
And you want to be among the first ones to leverage this opportunity, probably.
I was interested, not necessarily being the first one. I just thought it was the coolest. And I'm like, why aren't more people doing this? Why isn't this doing this? And like I said, my mind was, trying to solve the problem of, I don't understand, the algorithms and, how Bitcoin works. I understand the distributedness, but I don't understand, everything that goes on behind it, because I'm not a technology guy. So I really just wanted to marry the way that, Bitcoin, the way that cryptocurrencies and all the rest of that bring liquidity and also give you control of your money to real estate. So I was just looking to, get people into a super stable investment. And the other thing that I really love about, crypto and blockchain is you actually control your own investment. Your investment is not in the bank. Your investment is not, in some trust company. Your investment is not sitting off over here in somebody's file cabinet. Your investment is in your wallet. And wherever you are in the world, your investment is with you. So if I decide to retire to Costa Rica, my investments are just going to be clicking off, and it's going to just deposit into my wallet. And then the other super cool thing is with DeFi, we've done an agreement with BlockFi so that you can take your monthly cash flow, you can get an ACH payment into your bank account, but you can also get a USD stablecoin distribution or an ETH distribution, and you can deposit that in BlockFi. So your monthly preferred return that's there for you at 5.5%, but more than likely we're going to hit, the 7.9 to 8%. That's going to be deposited. You could deposit it in BlockFi and then get an extra 7.5, 7.9%. So you're like, just increasing and supercharging your returns, which you can't do in a normal real estate investment in the United States right now.
Yeah, completely agree. Staking and DeFi, it is new industry and competitors to the banks. And just yesterday, I checked that their APY through USDT and UDC, it is two stable coins, are 36% APY per year. So very huge. And you just need to open your laptop, connect your MetaMask wallet, store your funds, and stake them. Very simple.
Right. And it's even what I'm most amazed at, you could do it all from a smartphone too. And
Yep.
You could be I always like to use this analogy. You could be a farmer on a tractor in Iowa in the US. You can be a guy in the middle of Africa herding cattle. You can be a professional in Argentina, and you can be in the middle of the Ukraine. And you could be invested in a London office building, or you could be invested in US real estate. And, you can see it all right there on your phone, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And I agree that possibility to enhance your return by getting your token and using them over and over again in protocols is one of the things that basically makes tokenized investment opportunities so much more attractive than conventional ones, and even for accredited investors, because for accredited investors it has been possible, even still harder, to sell their stake in private investments simply because they can go to brokers, pay some fees, etc. So for them the benefit of liquidity is lower than for retail investors, but this enhanced return is, on my opinion, one of the strongest value propositions. But getting back to the question of liquidity, I've been wondering, how specifically do you enable trading for your investors? Is it through exchange, or is it in a decentralized manner?
Okay, so you can trade your tokens peer-to-peer. And we are, we have launched our fund through Securitize. So you can trade through peer-to-peer as long as you go through the KYC and anti-money laundering. And then you can also list your tokens with a broker. Somebody that, and there's more and more brokers that are dealing in, digital assets. You could also list your tokens on an ATS. So there's automatic trading systems. And I think there's up to 12 automatic trading systems right now in the US that will deal with digital assets. There's also, I can't remember what the name of them are, but there's similar trading matching systems in Europe and Asia. And so you could also do that. And then there's also the secondary exchanges. So there's T0, there's the INX, and there's, some of those other guys. We've got relationships with InvestaX. We've got relationships with, a lot of different things throughout the world. And for our European distribution, we're working with Black Manta. And we've got, people out of Canada that we're doing distribution with. So it's just really, I think one of the great things about it is traditionally real estate has been country by country. You had to know a lot about that country. And with tokenization of real estate, you can learn a little bit about what the people are. And as long as the sponsors know what they're doing, you can invest and actually distribute and, diversify your income outside of your country into a different country. So,
so basically it's two options. So first one is the peer-to-peer market in the form of bulletin board or through a transfer from the whitelisted wallets. So you have the possibility to transfer and to trade the securities, or you can list with the broker dealer or in exchanges to provide the possibility for your investors to buy with automatically order matching system on the exchange. But we at Stobox, we chose the different way. It is a decentralized application where we use we recorded back recorded the layer of Uniswap and providing the client the possibility to create their own liquidity pool of their assets and to provide for their investors that have already passed KYC on their dashboard that we have deployed the possibility to trade their securities. So it is through the decentralized solutions.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention Uniswap, but can you go into a little bit more about how Uniswap works? So the investor can just list their shares on Uniswap, correct?
No. So yep. So there are two different ways how you can list your token, for example, ERC20 or on Ethereum. It is on centralized solutions such as exchanges, crypto exchanges, yeah, or Uniswap. The difference is that in centralized exchanges, you need to apply some application or pay some funds to be listed there. But on Uniswap or decentralized exchanges, you can do it for free and everybody can do it.
Right.
And in Uniswap, for example, there are no KYC and you don't know where their investors and from which countries are there. And it is a problem for securities because you have the KYC, you have the AML process. And what we have done, we hard-coded all the rules in our smart contract based on Uniswap protocol. So technically, you're creating your liquidity pool on Uniswap, but only wallets that have approved by your smart contract, but through your security token can participate there. So the guys from Afghanistan or from Libya, and everybody who are not whitelisted to a security, they can only see but not participate. Yeah. But on
That's a
our solution,
solution.
yeah, but on it called digital security swap, DS swap. So we have digital securities dashboard. It is the white label solution for the clients, and digital securities swap, where you through this solution can provide the secondary market. And very important that you are still a private company, because when you list your tokens on exchange, you have their obligations and their reporting system annual to be public. Okay, through digital securities, through tokenized shares, but public. And in this case, you you are still a private company and you don't have these obligations and this very huge reporting for the IRS or for other regulators. And what I see on the market, what you mentioned, that there are three audience currently. The first one, it is their crypto believers. They scared about KYC. They are fully in decentralized solutions, and they scary about all what is touching with centralized systems. Yeah. The second audience, it is traditional guys that are scared about the decentralization, and they are fully believing in private blockchain, for example, and such as technologies. And the third audience, it is the fusion between traditional and crypto, and it is the future when you still using the decentralized solutions, but with centralized attributes such as whitelisting, such as different rules or regulation on chain, where you cannot do illegal actions on their public blockchain, yeah, because they are blocked automatically. And I think in 10 years it will be the future.
Yeah, yeah. Well, absolutely. That's why we thought we originally could do an IPO. And then found out that, since we are based in the United States and since all the properties are currently in the United States, that we have to comply with U.S. securities laws. So ours is a 506c offering. It's fully legally compliant, with U.S. laws, and it's also compliant with a number of other outside jurisdictions. And we just did that because, with crypto, it's easily, you can put it here, you can put it there, but it's really hard to move the real estate, which makes it, that's the benefit of the real estate. But it's also why we want to do things completely legal. But I think so that if somebody was looking to do like a real estate developer or somebody that owned a lot of real estate, they could go to Stobox and get everything packaged up for them, you guys would help them through the process. Is that how that works?
Yes, actually, we are seeing quite a lot of demand from real estate market overall. One of our flagship projects that will be launching probably in autumn is a large real estate holding from UK, doing a test case for one of their projects. So yeah, from what we see, even though tokenization is emerging in many industries, in crypto companies now switching to more regulated offerings, in natural resources, in commodities, the biggest demand is still from the real estate.
Right. And so you're doing a test case with a Ukrainian real estate company, correct?
UK.
Okay, sorry, UK. All right. So that should be very interesting. So, and when do you think that's going to launch?
I expect that it would happen in the first part of autumn, maybe in the beginning.
Well, we'll be looking
September.
for that. We'll be looking for that because we're also putting on, just to help people understand about blockchain and real estate. We're doing the blockchain real estate summit down in Austin, Texas in September. So people from the technology side are going to be able to meet with people that are on the real estate side that might be a little bit hesitant and might want to learn more about it. And so we just said, you know what, we need to start, putting out more education because the biggest education part, the technology is there. The people like you guys and the companies like you guys are set up to run with this. It's educating the real estate investment community how they can best take advantage of this and open up their products to a much wider audience.
That's a nice thing to do. I also believe that basically everything is there. Investor interest is there, issuers are there, and technology providers are there. It's only about connecting the dots, which is happening on an increasing pace.
So offline, I'll send you guys an invitation to the Blockchain Real Estate Summit in Austin, Texas in September. We'd love to have you guys. So, and
that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah.
To wrap up our conversation, I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs raising capital through security token offering? What could they learn from your experience and what pitfalls should they avoid?
I think they should, first of all, start with a good real estate project. I see a lot of stuff out there, especially over the past 2 years. There's been some excellent real estate projects like Aspen Coin, or the LA token, the La Estancia token in the Dominican Republic, and there's been a few other excellent offerings out of Asia and out of Europe. And then there's just been some like horrible properties that people really shouldn't be getting involved with. But they just said, oh, we'll just slap the fintech label on it and we'll say it's a coin, and then we'll go out and raise money. And so they should, first of all, make sure that, number one, they have some sort of experience in it. Number two, because I've also had a lot of people talk to me and they want to just get into real estate, and then all of a sudden they want to do a security token. I'm like, well, what you're doing is starting out on a difficulty level of 10 when you should start out with building a track record in real estate. And then, number one, the market is going to catch up and it'll be much easier to do a security token. And number two, you'll have a track record then. So I would say, number one, start off with good real estate. Start off with real estate that's going to make people money. Start off with real estate that's going to, not lose investor money. Because the worst possible thing that could happen for the industry is for bad projects, to people who invest in them, and then everybody points to it and says, oh, there's, look at those guys over there, they're losing money for everybody. So that's the biggest thing. And then number two, no matter where you're located, start off with the legal requirements, so have a securities attorney, look at your deal and all the rest of it, or get involved with somebody early on like Ross and Boris, who know what they're doing, who know how to navigate through this. So you don't have to figure out everything, because when, it's even difficult to figure out how to explain to your investors how to get a wallet and things like that. So there's a large learning curve right now which we again with the Blockchain Real Estate Summit are trying to compress timeframes and compress education. But you still need to go out there and start educating yourself on what's happening. But the biggest thing is be legally compliant in your jurisdiction and have a good real estate deal, and then get good advisors.
Thank you for this advice, and I hope it will be helpful to many of our viewers. And thank you for the interview. Thank you for the insights that you bring from a traditional real estate market, expanding our more financial and tech focus to you. It was a pleasure to speak to you.
Well, with me, you can see that sometimes an old dog can learn new tricks. So we're just trying to create crypto with cash flow.
That sounds awesome. Thank you. And to all of our viewers, please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and watch other amazing interviews we do have here. And thank you for being today with us. See you in the next episode.
Thank you, guys.